Here we go. Top 4. Zach Cooper, Houndoom Gengar versus Drew Kennett with the Arceus Gengar. 2 Gengar VMAX prize, and I believe Drew only plays 2 Gengar VMAX. So no Gengar VMAX access for Drew off the rip, but the first prize card there is one, so it's not that big of a deal. But probably won't have access to the second one throughout the game. So we'll only have access to 1 Gengar VMAX, and that's only if they can draw prize cards, you know, aggressively enough. Otherwise, they could be put in a bad spot by not having that option earlier on. So we'll see how it goes. This matchup, I have no idea who to favor, to be honest. It's probably pretty close, even though Zach can one-hit KO Gengars no matter what, because of having to Houndoom to your Gengar. It means Drew can also one-hit KO your Gengars with a choice belt. So it looks like Drew is going first, has double doof and quick ball to start off the game. Let's see if they also have the energy for turn for one of these Arceus. I can't see what was discarded by that quick ball there, but we'll see. Grabs another Arceus. Opts not to grab a Gengar. So maybe check the prize card, saw the Gengars for prize, and just doesn't want to go that route, at least initially. But you do want a Gengar V on bench set up. And whiffs the energy turn 1. Okay, so that's huge. No energy turn 1 from Drew. Single strike energy to the Gengar V. Tool Jammer as well. Pat to the peak. And then the research. Okay, so pretty solid start here from Zach. Well, away the pat to the peak. Gonna get the Houndour, and then obviously look for more Houndours, maybe another Gengar. Dower grab, quick ball, another Dower. Immediately ditches both paths to the peak, which is probably fine. I don't know if Zach knows that Drew plays Collapse Stadium or not, but they do. There's a Doof, there's an Arceus. Has a Ultra Ball, just gonna Doof for 3 first, and then probably Ultra Ball for another Doof, and then Doof again. I think that's what we're gonna see here. Yep, there's the Ultra Ball, gets rid of a Doof and an Arceus, and then I'm gonna grab what's it called? Doof again, and then Doof again, and then hopefully find an energy finally. There's no energy so far for Drew after a turn and a Doof. Oh, saw an extra card. Okay, so I guess I'm assuming is this where the 2 prize penalty happens here? So I really don't like that. I don't know. I don't like this is that this is a 2 prize penalty. Like, it's very obvious that Andrew made a mistake. It just like shouldn't be like a 2 prize penalty, but I'm pretty sure this ends up being a 2 prize penalty here, because I know Zach had a 2 prize, or had to take 2 less prize cards at some point. I could be wrong. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not a 2 prize penalty. Maybe it's not a 2 prize penalty. Okay, they shuffle the deck. Collapse Stadium comes out, and now we have access to Starbirth for Drew, which isn't going to be too impactful this turn, because is it going to be too impactful for this turn? It was a 2 prize penalty. They wouldn't let me decline it, bro. I asked to decline it. Yeah, that's good on you. I hate that it's a what's it called? I hate that seeing an extra card is a 2 prize penalty. If it happens like a lot, then that's one thing. But if it happens like now and then, it's like not a big deal. Like it's like not a big deal. All right, we see the Trinity Charge come out, 2 and 1 on the Arceus and the Gengar, so both of them are getting set up. Of course, Drew did prize both their Gengar VMAX, so can't use them. Marty from Zach, and the Collapse Stadium did come out, but it won't be like a pretty big. It won't be a detriment at all to Zach here, I don't think. And Zach only has to draw 4 prize cards now, which is a pretty big deal. Like, Zach only needs 4 prize cards here. And then that's what I'm saying about like the damage building up here. So like even if Zach does get the big 1-hit KOs with the Gengar, like if you hit your own Gengar twice with Houndoom, then Drew's Gengars with a choice belt can get the KO. Of course, Zach actually also plays the Tool Jammer, I guess, so that can kind of negate that. But Andrew also plays Tool Scrapper, so there can be some back and forth there with the tool cards. But this is a pretty bad spot for Drew now. Gengar goes up. Draw. I guess it's possible Drew could have tried to play around giving Zach access to the Fear and Panic knockout by like going Arceus active, don't bench a second Arceus, and then play for the Gengar. But I mean, the way it played out, it was probably the best way for Drew to play it into it anyway. So it's just kind of unfortunate, like that Drew just didn't really have a good option here. Like it just, yeah, the way it played out, that Drew does not have a good option here. Like, there's no way to get a knockout, and Zach needs 2 prize cards now because of the unfortunately because of the prize penalty. But I'm sure Drew will make sure not to actually see an extra card, in the rest of this match. Choice belt, and I think we'll see actually Drew go with the sleep, probably the sleep attack here, because you can't get the 1-hit KO, and usually with Gengar, when you can't get a 1-hit KO, you just put them to sleep and hope they don't wake up, or they hope they don't have a switch card. I've won many games with Gengar by putting my opponent to sleep. So we should see the Dark Slumber here. What? Don't even see the Dark Slumber from Drew? See, I would have at least Dark Slumbered there. I think that's a mistake from Drew. Like, you're so sure Zach only needs 2 prize cards, but you could Dark Slumber for 110 and then go into Arceus Knockout, I think. And then from there, wait, is that even enough damage? That might not be enough damage. Let me do the math in my head again. 110. Oh, it's not even 110, it's 70. You have to sleep him for 2 turns, I guess. All right, I think Drew checked the deck and saw that both Gengar VMAXs were prized at this point, and probably that's why they conceded. I would still go with Dark Slumber, though. Like, I don't think you're losing too much by seeing 2 turns of play from Zach and seeing if Zach can get out of the Dark Slumber. Like, you could Dark Slumber them twice, then get the KO on the following turn, and you could still come back and win the game potentially. It's definitely hard. Like, I'm not saying it's not tough to win at that point, especially because Zach has to draw 2 less prize cards, but, like, it is possible. So I would at least go for the Slumber play. I can give myself a shot through the Slumber play, I think, but okay, so on Zach's side this time, now Zach does play, Zach not only actually plays for Gengar V, but also actually plays the Stone Journer, if I'm not mistaken, which is actually going to could be a huge deal in this matchup, actually. Actually, I feel like because of the Stone Journer, Zach has to just be favored. I forgot about the Stone Journer, but Zach also plays the Stone Journer, so I feel like Zach has to be favored in this one, actually. Overall, now has won the game 1, so I feel like if I have to favor someone from here on out, of course we know who wins, but like I have to favor Zach overall, like in the matchup. I think it's definitely a favorable matchup for Zach. Prize cards here for Drew, less like nothing huge here. The Big Charm would be nice to maybe have on an Arceus to force more single strike energy out of a Gengar VMAX, but it's not that big of a deal, I don't think. And of course, yeah, Zach prizing 3 Gengar is not great, but has the Stone Journer, so still has 2 attackers to work with. So Drew gets to turn 1 energy on the Arceus. Does open the Stone Journer, though, so that's not great. And I believe does Drew play the Dunsparce? Drew does not actually play Dunsparce. So Stone Journer is actually just like this card is actually just insane in the matchup for Zach. Zach draws 7 after Path to the Peak. I'm not sure what the hand was on the discard, and then concedes. So yeah, I don't like. I saw someone in chat said that they think that what's it called? I'm curious as to know what the hand was before the research. Got Earn. I don't know what that is. Switch, Houndoom, Boss maybe. I would still stick it out for 1 turn. You got the Path in play. You're not dead in the water yet. You only got 1 search card, but I would attach active Quick Ball for a Houndoom. Like, what if your opponent just is fully, like, has nothing? Your opponent could also have nothing. You never know what your opponent has. So I would 100%, especially, so the only one thing to ever consider in these kind of situations is how much time is left. Like, do I really want to sit here for even, like, 1 extra turn and burn the clock? And if the answer is no, then that's fine. But you have 60 minutes left. You have full 60 minutes left. If Drew's hand just sucks, if Drew's hand just absolutely sucks, then you could still win this game. Like, you can bench your Dower, and then next turn you could go Stone Journer attack, knock out the Arceus, and then from there Drew could go draw pass, and then you just win the game, right? So Zach, I think that Zach definitely should have stuck this out a little bit longer, for sure. I would have 100% played this out a little bit longer. We don't know what Drew's hand is. Actually, does Drew's hand suck? Okay, hold up. I think Drew's hand also sucks. So this is why you play it out. Your opponent has a 2-card hand. It's an Air Balloon and a Quick Ball, I think. Yeah, Drew's hand actually sucks. Drew's hand actually sucks. So, there's no reason for Zach to scoop here at all. There's no reason to concede here. The only time to consider it, you just don't know if Drew never showed you that their hand was good here. This is like a pretty, this going over this, and so this is like a lot of you can learn how to like know when to concede. So there's a couple of factors to determine when you're going to concede a game. Just because your hand sucks doesn't mean your opponent hand also doesn't suck. Yeah, just because your hand sucks doesn't mean your opponent's hand also doesn't suck. And the other thing to consider is just how much time do you have left. And in this situation, they have 60 minutes for... As soon as Zach concedes here, they have 60 minutes for one game, which is way more than enough time to complete 2 or 3 games. So Zach should definitely stick this out, because just because your hand sucks doesn't mean your opponent's hand sucks. That's like the thing to keep in mind. Is a lot of people see their hand and they're like, oh, this sucks. But you also... the thing you always have to think about is, oh, my opponent's hand could also suck. I have won so many games where I go draw pass, but I don't just concede, because I'm like, well, what if my opponent draws pass? And then they draw pass, and I'm like, okay, well, now I'm ahead of the draw pass, so I'm at the advantage, right? Zach actually had like stuff to play with too. You forgot it was 75 minutes? Yeah. I mean, on top of that, though, I would have also just like done the good old hand check and just be like, okay, does my hand sucks? Does your hand suck? Okay, your hand sucks? Okay, we're going to keep playing this then. It's always worth it to just make sure, just because your hand sucks, as long as you know your opponent's in a position where their hand could suck. If your opponent has like a fully set up board and they're definitely going to be able to attack next turn, then you're like, oh, okay, their hand does not suck. Or it doesn't matter if their hand sucks, they just knock me out anyways. That's like a different scenario, right, though? We're in a situation where Zach's like, oh, my hand sucks, but you should definitely give the good old check and see if your opponent's hand sucks as well. So, yeah, I don't like this concede here. Who knows how this could have gone? This could have been a win for Zach, of course, and then that would have been a 2-0 for Zach. But we go to game 3. Game 3, let's check the prize cards. B-barrel prize, so not going to see double B-barrel from Andrew this game. And on the side of Zach, did prize a single strike energy, and it is in the last couple. So that can be annoying, but it's not a huge factor in determining if you can get knockouts or not. It is unfortunate, though. The single strike being prized this deep is like not great. And then, yeah, there's nothing super important, really. Like, this is, like, all reasonable prizes. It's just the Andrew's not going to be able to set up double B-barrel this game. It's, like, the biggest thing, I think, overall. And we will have Zach also going first. Opens the Battle VIP pass. It's just going to be setting up for, like, a turn 2 Gengar knockout. Whether that be with the V or the VMAX. Ideally, wants to do it with the VMAX. Are you not allowed to play with the prize cards in whatever order you want? You can, but you just shouldn't. There's just no reason to. Has the jammer already as well. Gives up the path to the peak off the quick ball to grab the Crobat. You don't need a path to the peak immediately from Zach, but you do want one as soon as possible to be in play to just kind of prevent the potential of star birth. Does the switch into the Dower over the Gengar, which doesn't make a whole ton of sense to me. I think you just want to switch into Gengar here, because you want Gengar on your active next turn to be attacking with. You want to be attacking next turn, putting on the pressure, drawing some prize cards, doing something. So switching into the Dower just means you need to find another switch card now on your next turn. So I definitely don't like that switch choice there from Zach. I think you should definitely be switching to the Gengar there and just be like, well, I'm attacking with Gengar next turn. Here we go. It has the jammer on it. It's ready to go. This Gengar has never been more ready in its life. Zach almost puts Path to the Peak in play, but Zach does play a Luminion, so holds off on that. Of course, this is 100%. This will 100% get awkward though. If Andrew finds a collapsed stadium, it's effectively a Path to the Peak in this scenario. Because then if you put your own Path to the Peak in play to open up your bench space, you're also just Path to the Peak. So gets rid of the Big Charm. Of course, we'd love to see that on the Arceus, but has to do something here. Goes after the Doof. Choice Belt to the Gengar, exactly where you want it. Would love to have the Big Charm on the Arceus, but you can't have everything because it looks like... Okay, and a Marnie does end up happening here from Drew. And then there's the Collapse Stadium. Like I said, this is effectively a Path to the Peak in the current situation, so Zach just won't be able to use Luminion, because the only way to bump the Collapse Stadium is with what's it called? The attach to the active here from Drew is pretty... maybe a little ballsy, but like you have to get off attack with Arceus. So like I don't hate this play here from Drew. We'll see what Zach has this turn. But now if Zach can get this KO, Zach is in a ridiculously good spot. Zach's in a ridiculously good spot if they can get this KO. But their hand does not look great. They have a Doom. They do have the Luminion, but there is that Collapse Stadium in play. Has an energy as well. I can't see the rest of it. It looks like an urn and something else. It looks like an urn and something else. Splits the energy on the Gengars. And then I think it's going to be a pass here. I don't think there's anything else. I think it's urn, Luminion, and something. So just not a very good hand here from Zach. And now this is the time for Andrew to pull ahead here. Andrew just can like start getting these knockouts. Even KO with just the Houndour here is just like a pretty big knockout, to be honest. And I'm sure we'll see Andrew grab. It looks like the B barrel, not the Arceus V-Star. So maybe there's a V-Star in the hand, or maybe another Ultra Ball. And just gonna try and find more cards to use with the other Ultra Ball. We'll see. But I assume you want to go with a knockout here. We'll see. Maybe Andrew is just content with going with. Okay, yeah, doesn't have the Arceus yet. Maybe just would be fine with the Trinity Charge. Maybe just looking for a Trinity Charge this turn. I feel like you want to take the knockout on this Dower. But maybe Andrew wants to keep the bench locked. Maybe Andrew wants to keep the bench locked. But no, there's the Arceus. Has a Choice Belt in hand as well. So can go Boss KO on a Gengar here if they want to. And we'll see if that's what Andrew goes for here. Has the Choice Belt. So could go, I think could go with Boss KO here. And then, I mean, could go like Boss, potentially. Yeah, eyeing up the boss. Take away the Tool Jammer. Oh, you can't take away the Tool Jammer Gengar. I was like, KO the Tool Jammer Gengar, but you can't do that because then your Choice Belt turns off. You have to KO the other Gengar with the Single Strike Energy, which it does remove a Single Strike Energy from play, so that's not a bad thing. This will open up the bench space for Zach now to actually bench a... Okay, so actually decides not to go with that knockout. I actually kind of like this as well, though, to be honest. I kind of like the idea of not bossing up the... Not bossing KO and the Gengar, just KOing out the Downer. Because KOing the Dower is also still really, really good. For sure. Especially if you're like, well, if my opponent puts down the Luminion on their next turn, to like I'm opening them a bench space up for them if they Luminion. Now if they Luminion, they can't Houndoom. Put another Dower down next turn, potentially. So they're rocking solo Dower. So I actually kind of do like the... I do like the just KO on the active from here from Drew. Here comes Luminion. There's a Research. And then for Zach, we need to see an Energy and a VMAX here, I think. Second Jammer as well, but this is actually lining up good for Drew because Drew took the Tool Scrapper. So now Drew can Tool Scrapper away both Jammers and just remove those from play and not have to worry about them anymore. Oh, energy active. Here comes the Houndoom. There should be a Single Strike Energy left in the deck. Okay, 2 damage on the active and can get the KO. So Zach gets the KO here. And Drew cannot, unless I'm like miscounting here, Drew cannot get the response knockout here. Could go Boss KO something off the bench, but can't actually knock out the active. Oh, wait, hang on. There's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's still not enough, though, right? No, not quite. Okay, there's not enough. That's not enough on... There's not enough V Pokemon in play to actually do the Fear and Panic KO either, though. There's the Scrappers on the Jammies. No more Jammers to worry about anymore from Drew. Can thin out the hand quite a bit here as an Ultra Ball and a Quick Ball. So it can go find basically anything they want. Probably just going to go with a Fear and Panic this turn, I guess. You could just set up 2 Gengar VMAXs and go Fear and Panic. I guess you're only ever afraid of Zach pulling... Oh, gets rid of the Choice Belt there. That's interesting. You didn't... Like, I don't know. That's a... Like, that Choice Belt's pretty big for the next Gengar to be able to threaten Zach's next Gengar for a one-hit KO. Because now if Zach just KOs this active Gengar of Drew's... Even if this bench Gengar has 2 or 4 or even 6 damage counters built on it from the Single Strike Roar, because there's no second Choice Belt from Drew now, it just won't get one hit KO'd by the next Gengar. So I don't know if I like that discard there of that Choice Belt. I think Drew only plays 2 Choice Belts, so yeah, that's a big card to not have access to anymore. I'm wondering what that last card in the hand actually was to make that discard happen instead. To go with that discard happening instead. Has a Raihan here, it looks like. So going to be able to fully set up both Gengars and get another card out of the deck. And yeah, it looks like just lining up for a Fear and Panic with the active. And yeah, unless I miscounted, I shouldn't be knocking out the active. I end up taking a Boss. So the prize trade right now, I guess, does favor Drew if Zach... Yeah, I guess if Zach can't pull off a big 1-hit KO next turn, the prize trade does favor Drew overall. But I could see it going the other way at some point. But maybe it always just works out for Drew here to kind of win the game. There's the Fear and Panic. Now Drew can go KO this Gengar. Yeah, because I guess Zach would need to get like a 1-hit KO this turn, which to be honest actually is maybe just not possible for Zach to actually get a 1-hit KO. And because that's not possible, I guess as Drew, you're just kind of chilling. Yeah, because Zach can't get a 1-hit KO in this situation, I don't think, actually. Does he want the Big Charm on the second Gengar? That's fair, that's fair. He could just want a Big Charm on the second Gengar. Didn't get it off the Raihan, though. So that's like, that makes me think that maybe that's not a... No, because I think, yeah, Drew only plays 1 Big Charm and it's gone. Drew only plays 1 Big Charm and it's in the discard pile, so that was never an option, I guess. But to be honest, with the way the situation's playing out, actually, it's just kind of good for Drew. I didn't think about it too hard or too much, but now that I'm kind of seeing it play out, it's just looking good for Drew. Just only having 2 Gengars on board like this, I don't think Zach can really handle the prize trade right now. Because Drew can even just like hit this other Gengar. Ideally, Drew just goes boss, boss, but I think it's going to be pretty hard to pull off a boss, boss line here. I don't see it happening. We'll see. They could definitely do it. I think Drew has 2 boss left. Oh, there's one of them. Okay, so there's the first boss. I mean, it's possible. Could just see the good old boss, boss. And did bench the Arceus now, though. So, like, you almost are forced into going down the boss, boss route. Because Drew is, like, making it easier for, what's it called to get a knock? Oh, okay, that's huge, actually. Can this even get KO? Now Zach has to set up a 1-hit KO on this, or effectively a 1-hit KO on this Gengar. You need, like, triple, single. You need so much more from Zach. Actually, Zach, I don't even think can KO this. I don't even think Zach can KO this now. But by Drew benching the Arceus, this turn Zach can go boss KO Arceus. But then you don't KO this choice belted Gengar. This is actually just like this puts Zach in a terrible spot. Because Zach can't KO this. Oh no, Zach could KO this Gengar, but Zach needs to get an Urn, find one of those 2 single strike energy, and then Houndoom a single strike energy here, and then KO the active. So Zach has to KO the active here. Zach's only real play is to KO the active here. Well, I mean, you could not, but it probably puts you in a pretty bad spot. I guess you could go like attach here, boss KO Arceus. That would be fine as well. Because if you don't put 2 more damage counters on your Gengar, then you can't. If you don't put 2 more damage counters on your Gengar, then it can't get 1 KO'd. But then if Andrew just hits this for 280 on the next turn, you can't actually single strike roar to it, and then you're not going to be able to 1 KO Gengar VMAX on the next turn yourself anyways. So. This is a pretty good. This is a pretty good spot for Drew. And if Drew ever just has boss next turn, Drew just wins also. So we'll see if Zach can put something together here. But I don't think there's not like I don't see like a reasonable line. We'll see if Zach can put anything else together here. I guess we know who wins the game, but we'll see if Zach has like a cool line of play to come up with here. But I'm pretty sure this one is just going. Yeah, the Hyper Potion was actually super sick there. Like that did a lot of work actually. There's the Urn. But I don't think this ever leads to a knockout on... Okay, he puts an energy on the Dower. Okay, I like this. So probably going to retreat into Dower. Okay, so there is a cheeky line here then, I guess, from Zach. You retreat to the Dower with the hiding energy. Punch for 40 to set up the 2-hit KO. Okay, that is something. But you're still a ways away from being able to win the game. You still always lose to a boss from Drew. And we'll see. Yeah, you still always lose to a boss. You just lose to a lot of things from Drew still. And Drew is probably content with just knocking out the active as well. Like if Drew just knocks out the active, that's like also just like fine from Drew. Switching the deck. I believe there is a boss left in the deck. I could be mistaken on that, but I believe there is a boss left. We'll see. Thins out the deck of the Arceus. If you find the boss, you win here. If you don't, you're still in a really good spot. Switches into the other Gengar. I like that as well. Protect the choice belted Gengar is also a big deal because that like makes it easier to KO the Zach's Gengar VMAX on the next turn. So protect your Gengar VMAX. And there's the boss, and Drew wins with the boss. So the boss ends up getting in the end, and Drew wins this top 4 match. But then we have another top 4 match to get into.